talking about tonight, then do please feel free to pick up the phone and give us a ring. And we're going to find out all about it from our special guest who's joined us live this evening. That is Alan Cooke, who is a magnetherapist. Evening to you, Alan.
Good evening, Paul.
Nice to see you. Looking well.
Yep, nice to be here tonight.
It's obviously the magnets that have done it. That's what it is. It sounds really technical and, you know, whoa, magnotherapy. What is it, basically?
Well, there's still a lot of research going on about it and a lot of debate, really, about how they actually work. Different theories have been claimed by manufacturers of magnetic products. But basically, two vital things occur when a magnet is placed on the skin. First, it's the tissue will lengthen, and it helps relax down a muscle or ligament that's damaged. And it'll work in an area that's directly proportionate to the type and strength of magnet. Now, we'll probably be talking about that a little bit later on, that magnets are measured in Gauss. Like an electric light bulb's measured in watts, you get a 40-watt bulb. Magnets are measured in Gauss, and proportionate to what you have depends on how much you're going to actually be able to penetrate the depth. So that's basically what it is. It's there's still a lot, as I say, there's still a lot of study going on.
Because this offers pain relief, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And I have to say that this was quite strange, because I've had experience of this myself. My father uses this. And I want to say now, in case anyone thinks, oh yeah, here we go, there is no connection between you and my father or anything like that. I just happen to say that my father has experienced this himself. He's got these little insoles that he puts in his shoes, and they work. And I was as sceptical as everybody else, because, you know, we saw these things where originally on a shopping channel on the television a few years back, and there were these people phoning up saying they're amazing. People who suffer from arthritis and all these other conditions, you know, joint problems and so on and so forth. You put these magnetic soles in your shoes, and it helps. It relieves the pain. And not only can you get things you put in your shoes, you get all sorts of other things, as we're going to discuss. But it really does work. It gives relief, which is just incredible.
It is. It's been clinically tested. It's safe. It's effective. It's actually reusable, so you can use it time and time again. It's non-invasive. It's drug-free. And basically it's affordable. So, you know, rather than putting lots and lots of drugs inside your body, you're actually becoming drug-free.
Sure.
It doesn't work for everybody. I think you said earlier on it's about 80% effective, and nobody knows why it doesn't work for, or why it works for the people that it does and why it doesn't for others. But some of the more sort of interesting things as well, again, that we'll discuss later on, and probably many of your listeners will find, is that it works very well on animals. And, you know, they can't talk to us, they can't tell us that. But from a lot of the signs, we've had very, very good results on animals and pets.
Let me just say, if anyone would like to take part in the programme this evening, maybe you're listening now and you're hearing what Alan said and you think, yep, I know all about this, I've got this, that and the other. We're going to talk about the various products that are available. We're also going to give you a website a little bit later on where you can find out more as well. Okay, we'll give you out a website address a little bit later on. But if you would like to take part in the programme, or there's a question you would like to ask, phone lines are open now.
Call BBC Southern Counties Radio now on 08459 570057.
That is the number you need. I can see already the phone lines are busy, so hang on in there and we'll be with you just as soon as we can. Alan, you've brought a load of bits and pieces with you this evening, which is wonderful, and also I'm very grateful and pleased to be able to say that at the end of the programme, the end of the hour, we are going to be giving something away, and the answer to the question that we're going to be asking, you will be giving sometime throughout this hour. So listen out, because we've got some goodies to give away a little bit later on. This isn't just a case of sitting down and shoving a magnet from Woolies on the back of your hand, is it? I mean, these are quite specialised, and there are various little items that you buy. For example, you have like the inner soles that I just mentioned. What sort of things have you got, and how are they used? What do they do?
For something like inner soles, people that may have problems in the lower areas like their feet or ankles or knees, by placing the magnetic insoles inside your shoes, they tend to increase the circulation, and a lot of people have found that they get pain relief from it. Swelling goes down. As I said before, we can't make any claims directly, because we don't know that it's going to work for you, but it's one of those things where you need to try it. I must say as well, there's certain people who can't use magnet therapy. It's not many people that can't, but certainly if you wear any kind of mechanical implant, for example a defibrillator, insulin pump, anything like that, or if you're pregnant, then really you need to speak to your doctor and just make sure that...
because obviously these are little electronic devices and magnets have an effect.
They do.
So it's good common sense, obviously, but worth mentioning. So what have you got there? We mentioned the insoles. My father uses those insoles, and I have to say he swears by them. He even bought them for somebody that he used to work with as well, because they just could not believe the difference. 1 minute he's hopping around, the next minute he's walking well. And, he said, well, I've just got these insoles.
Did you know you can magnetise your water, Paul?
Which water are you talking about? I didn't know you were a doctor as well.
Yeah.
This is drinking water,
This is drinking water, yeah. I filter my water and then leave it on to magnetise. Basically, there's a coaster, and within probably 3 or 4 minutes, you'll magnetise your water, providing it's only a glass. If you're putting a whole jug full on, then it's probably going to take a little bit longer. But again, within sort of 15 to 20 minutes, you can have a whole jug of water that's magnetised.
And it tastes different, doesn't it?
It does taste different, and it's safe then as well. You can put it in the fridge, and it won't lose its magnetism.
Again, this is all a bit of a mystery. I'm sure there'll be some scientists who'll probably sit there and say, oh yes, well that's because of the electronic blah blah blah. But from the bottom line, it actually does work. It tastes a whole lot better. You can. Am I right in thinking you could take sort of we mustn't name names here, but some very cheap orange juice, and if you were to put it on that little coaster for a while, it would taste a whole lot better.
Yes, there is, and there's 2 poles to a magnet. There's a north pole and the south pole. If you put your drinking water on, or put your orange juice on, even something like a vase of flowers that's wilting, you can actually sort of bring them back to, not maybe to full bloom, but certainly you'll bring them back out and start to bring them alive again. And again, it's amazing how that sort of thing can actually develop.
I mean, going back to people, you have bracelets. You have... Well, what else have you got, Bex? I'm familiar with the insoles and the bracelets, and obviously there's the coaster you just mentioned. What other sort of things are there?
There's a number of other items, such as a knee support, ankle supports, a thing that we call a magic wand, which we won't put the trade name on, but basically it's magnetic field therapy that can work actually touching the body, or it can work without even touching the body. So, for example, if you had an area of your body that was too painful to touch, you would put this device just above it, and it would penetrate all the way through. In fact, it would penetrate out the other side as well. Again, emitting non-harmful magnetic fields. And let's face it, we are in a world at the moment where we are being deprived of our own natural magnetism. We're surrounded by things like
radio waves.
Yeah, well, even in here, all the time. The microwaves, the televisions, and things like that. We don't walk around sort of bare feet on the grass and things like probably I used to. I can remember when I was a youngster, walking around in sort of bare feet on the grass and that. We're just depleting ourselves really of natural. Our natural Earth's magnetic field.
Alan, shove your headphones on there if you would,
yep,
because
sure.
We're going to speak to some people now. Is there sound coming through those headphones? Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Can you hear me or not? Yes,
I
sort
can.
of ish.
Yep.
Sort of ish, you never know.
That's better.
Get a dodgy pair. Let's go straight away to Headley Down and speak to Pam, who has used this magnet therapy. Let's speak to Pam. Hi, Pam.
Hello, Pam.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Now then, you've had a positive experience. Tell Alan and I about it.
Well, my son in Australia suggested to me, because I have rheumatism and arthritis in the hips and in my hands as well, and he suggested that an underblanket with a fleece which goes right across the bed, a fitted fleece, and then it has an underblanket underneath it of 2 layers, and sewn into it are these rather large magnets about every 9 inches. and you put it over your bed, of course, and you just sleep on it as normal. Well, the fleece is lovely. It's lovely and warm, and well, actually, it's cool in summer and warm in winter. And then the under blanket is under that, and I also have it for my pillows. I have two that go into the pillows, and that's how I sleep every night. Now, I've had them about 4 or 5 months now, and I've noticed a very good response for my rheumatism and arthritis.
What about, do you sort of feel that you've got a little bit more life in you during the day as well? Have you noticed anything on that?
I certainly sleep better, sleep a lot better, so that, yes, therefore, I suppose I might have a lot more energy during the day, because my wrists used to wake me up every single night, and, you know, I had to wind them round to get rid of the pain in them. And that seems a lot better than it was. So, yes, I would say it's a very positive result. My son has one on his bed in Australia, and he found it very helpful to himself, because he's had a bad injury to a leg. He had broke both bones in the top part of his leg. And he says that it has helped with the pain in that as well.
One of the things that we do recommend if you're using magnet therapy is to drink a lot of water. And the process as well, if you're actually having magnets either in your bed or on your body, is that it can make you feel a little bit thirsty. And the reason that we ask you to drink a lot of water is that it flushes the toxins out more thoroughly than if you just load yourself up with maybe tea and coffee and caffeine and things like that.
Yes.
So I don't know whether you felt a little bit drier or thirsty, but that is one of the things that can happen.
I quite often have to get up in the night, as we do as we get older.
Yes.
And I always drink cranberry juice and water, which is always in a jug beside my bed. And I always have water when I get up in the morning. So I don't know that I notice I've been a lot thirstier, but I normally drink a fair bit anyway, and I only have 1 cup of coffee and 1 cup of tea a day.
Were you sceptical at first, Pam? When your son first gave you this, did you think, yeah, right, well, I'll give it a go to keep him happy?
Well, no, because I had worn them on my neck. I had a necklace of it, and I lost it. And I had heard about it, and when he said, oh, for your birthday, I'll bring you home this, you know, I thought, oh, lovely. I didn't know what to expect, but when it came, you know, I was absolutely thrilled. It also has the feet pads as well, the insoles, so that's a free gift with it. And so I wear them in shoes that are not too tight-fitting, you know, because they're quite large. The insoles are quite large.
I see. This made me. I said, my father has the insoles, and he swears by them.
Well, certainly with the insoles, if you wear them for a few hours, you do notice the circulation's better in your legs. You know, you can actually feel the warmth in your legs, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I often feel the warmth in my legs, man. I often feel sadly, other people don't want to ever feel, but I ever feel.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it good it's good to hear from people like you, and we're encouraging other people to phone through as well, because, you know, it is one of those things that you hear about and you think, yeah, here we go.
Yes.
You know, how can a few magnets, you know, take away pain, or ease pain, perhaps we should say.
Yes.
But it does seem to work and makes you feel a whole lot better.
Well, I do say quite often tuck my hands underneath my pillow. That's the way I sleep. And I certainly have found that my hands are not nearly as painful. I know I take what's the old glucosamine and that sort of thing as well, but I certainly have noticed a difference, and I'm sleeping so much better.
Wonderful.
So, yes, I'll go along with what you're saying. I think more people should try it.
Bless you. Thanks for your call, my love.
Okay.
Nice of you
Thank
to
you.
ring.
Okay.
Bye-bye now. One of the questions that's starting to come through, Alan, from various people is, are there any benefits to a person that doesn't have anything wrong with them? I mean, we heard then, you know, Pam saying that she sleeps much better and so on and so forth. I mean, would there be any benefits from a mattress cover, for example, just to a normal person? Can it aid sleep, etc.?
Oh, certainly. You don't have to have anything wrong with you or any ailments to use magnet therapy. Normally, the sort of starting point I would suggest is with a bracelet. I've found that over the last 3 years I've worn mine, that my colds and flu and symptoms like that have decreased, well, rapidly, really. I used to get very bad colds and flu. Now, you might say, well, that's, you know, it's just been lucky, and it might be. I don't know. But certainly the sore throats that used to come on, followed by the heavy sort of bouts of flu, I don't get now. And I don't think, well, as I say, back 3 years, I would think, the last time I had a really bad cold. If you're going to wear magnetic bracelets, just one thing as well, it's better not to wear it on if you've got a wristwatch, because only because it could drain the battery.
Right. So
we do tend to say. High blood pressure, some people suffer from that. We're not going to suggest for any moment that you stop taking the pills, but, you know, within consultation with your doctor, with high blood pressure, you tend to wear it on your right wrist. And if you've got low blood pressure or normal, then on your left wrist. But
it's fascinating.
Yeah,
isn't it? It's absolutely amazing. And of course, as we've said, we're not, making any medical claims here. And if there are any questions, if you have any medical conditions, obviously you need to speak to the GP first. Before we take a little pause and have a quick tune out, and we can slurp away on our tea. Let's put this into context in terms of price. We've got loads more questions and calls coming through. Pam, we were talking to just now, mentioned the mattress cover, for example. In terms of price, are these things expensive?
With the initial outlay, something like a mattress cover, that is something that you put under or on top of your mattress and under your sheet. A single size is about £260. The magnets in there are going to last virtually a lifetime. They're ceramic magnets that are built into those. There's a difference between ceramic magnets and neodymium magnets. I don't want to get too involved with that, but basically the ceramic magnets are nice and calming, and they'll send you off to sleep a lot better than if you had something like neodymiums in there. The neodymiums we put in all our other sorts of things, like bracelets, like the knee supports and things like that. If you're going to go for a double, which they do, or a king size, then obviously the price does go up. But again, as I say, as an investment, for what's the price on your health? And as I say, it's completely reusable, and it's going to be there for virtually a lifetime.
I mean, we're talking of big things here like mattress covers, but there are also much smaller things. I mean, the insoles you mentioned earlier on. And let me just say, because people are asking, I will give out a website a little bit later on, okay, where all the information, details, and where you're getting all the rest of it from, okay? So get your pen and paper. I will give you a website address a little bit later on. What about things like insoles, just roughly, because these are questions that people are phoning through and asking about, how much they would cost you?
Well, you can get insoles for a very small price. I've seen some at £10, but they're not going to do anything for you at all. Around about, you're going to be looking between probably £25, £30 for a decent pair. And you can cut them down. They've got no gel in them or anything. They're what are known as bipolar, so you can use them either way up. So that's the sort of entry level that you're looking at. As I say, you go back to the light bulb. You'll get basically what you pay for, and there are some that are dearer than that. But you're looking at a Gauss strength of probably there about 1,000, and I know that doesn't mean probably a lot to most people, but 800 to 1,000 Gauss is what you want to be looking at when you're buying insoles anyway.
Fair enough. Alan, we'll be back with us in just a moment. It's coming up to 28 minutes past 11. It's The Late Show on BBC Local Radio across the South and the South East. Loads of calls to come in just a tick. And as I say, we'll give you that website address where you can get all the details from a little bit later on. And, of course, we have some more of your questions coming through as well, which I shall be putting to Alan in just a moment. In fact, as soon as you've heard this.
When I was a little girl, I had a drag doll, only doll I've ever owned. Now I love you just
River Deep, Mountain High from Ike and Tina Turner. Coming up to 28 minutes to 12 is The Late Show on BBC Local Radio across the South and the South East. Alan Cooke is my special guest this evening. He's a magnetherapist. We're talking about magnet therapy. Lots and lots of calls coming through, Alan, you'll be pleased to hear. And a couple of interesting questions. First of all, Claire in Wimbledon wants to know if it will be okay to use magnet therapy when you're breastfeeding. She's got RSI in her wrist, but obviously she doesn't want to pose any danger to the child. And you did mention earlier on about pregnant ladies shouldn't use it.
Yes, certainly. And that's only because you don't want to interfere with the natural development of the fetus. That's been put in really as a precaution. I mean, check with the doctor, certainly, if you're pregnant. They're not saying that you don't use it, especially if it's away from the fetal area, then the doctor may say that's not a problem, but just as a safeguard. Once the baby's been born, which obviously it has been, no problem at all. But as I say, if in any doubt, check with your doctor, but I'm pretty sure with that, you're going to have no problems at all.
Excellent. And also, Tony called in from Crawley. Now, he's had multiple bypasses, and therefore, as a result of that, he's got some wires in his ribs. Would it be safe for him to try and use the magnet therapy, maybe to relieve some of the discomfort that he gets in his chest?
Yes, most certainly. You know, even people that have got wires and things like that, you know, as long as, I say, there's no mechanical implant, battery and that sort of thing, it's safe to use.
So if you've got something like a pacemaker or an insulin pump, little machines, as I call them, they're the things you need to watch out for.
And that's only because it's going to drain the battery and affect the performance of the device that you've got.
Oh, right. Interesting. One that's come to on the text from Simon. He says, could you ask your guest if there's any suggestion there could be value in magnet treatment with things like vertigo due to inner ear problems, vertigo, giddiness, that type of thing? Has there ever been anything mentioned there?
Yes, there's a possibility of looking at placing a neodymium magnet behind the ear or around the sort of ear lobe, that sort of area. It's not one of the things that I've come across, to be honest, that frequently, but I've had people with ear problems, and they have found that wearing a magnet, just taping it on either side of the ear, especially if it's in both of them, can help. It's worth a try, certainly worth a try.
And as we keep saying, this is not a medicine or some sort of chemical. I mean, these are just magnets. It's not going to really do you any harm.
It's not going to do anybody any harm. No, that's the good thing.
Absolutely. 25 to 12, let's go to Raynham and speak to Doreen. Hello, Doreen.
Hello.
Hello, Doreen.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Now then, what would you like to ask?
I'd like a bit of advice. My daughter, actually, she attended the hospital today, and she had a scan done on her back because she gets a lot of pain there, and when she walks, down the side of her toe, she gets great pain and can't walk anymore. Well, they couldn't find anything physically wrong with her, but they suggested she'd go and have sort of electric treatment at the hospital. So I was wondering if there's a magnet that I could possibly buy for her to help her condition.
When you say, can you just reiterate that? You say that she's had a scan on the back, but she's got problems.
Yes, when she walks. Yeah, when she walks a little way, she finds it down the side of her foot that she gets this awful, sort of dull aching pain. But they said they couldn't find anything really wrong with her.
Well, what we tend to say is try and treat the area where the pain is, and obviously if it's in the foot, then I would suggest something like a pair of insoles. Would certainly be worth a try.
Okay.
I mean, how long has she been like this, Doreen?
Oh, she's had it for a while.
Yeah?
Yeah, she has.
Isn't it frustrating when you go to the hospital and they say we can't find anything?
I know. This is what I said, that probably it's a trapped nerve or whatever it is there, but it does, it does upset her an awful lot.
Have you heard of this before, by the way?
No.
It's amazing. It really is. My father suffered from arthritis in his knees, and he came across this a couple of years ago. And this is just by the by. I mean, I didn't even know Alan was coming in tonight. I tell you, it was when...
But it's just a fluke, because I always listen to you the evenings, and he's there.
My father swears by these things. He's got the insoles in his shoes, and he can do so much with them. If he takes them out, then his knees stop, give him jip.
Right.
It's bizarre.
Doreen, I can tell you one thing. I was probably the biggest sceptic out myself. And that's one of the reasons now that I've got into it, because it actually worked for me.
Right.
But as I say, try it. You've got nothing to lose.
Right. Where would I be able to purchase these?
I'm going to give you a website.
Oh, you are. That'd be lovely.
I can't tell you where to get them from. No. That'll be an advert. But let me just say that website will tell you what you need to know.
Lovely. Thank you very much for your help.
That's all right, Doreen.
Thank you then.
Sort that out. Yep.
No, my love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There's Doreen, I'm from Raynham, and that's the number one question. I'll give you a website at the end, okay? They can be got from various places, but I'll give you a website at the end that will answer all your questions, and you can also contact people for more information there as well. I'll give you that at the end, so get your pen and paper ready. Alan, had a call from Maureen in Seaford, has MS. Could magnets help her? And also Jill from Mepham wants to know if there's ever been any talk about using magnets for people with diabetes. Now, that's an interesting one, because lots of people suffer from diabetes. Lots of people have tried various different things over the years. Has anything ever been said?
Well, yes. What they're advising really with diabetes is to try good quality insoles, or a magnetic bracelet, or if possible to go to use a mattress pad or some form of magnetic sleep system. Obviously the magnetic mattress pad is the pierre de resistance. It is the outlay, but it's something that's going to be with you, you know, all the time you're in bed and sleeping, and helping to repair and recover. Also, drink lots of North Pole magnetised water. Now, to magnetise your water, you can do it with a special coaster. But if you have a neodymium magnet, you can actually do it with a neodymium. You can place your water just on the north side of the magnet. North Pole basically is a calming, relaxing thing, where the South Pole tends to stimulate, and you would use the different poles. You know, as I said before, magnets have two sides to them. They've all got a North Pole and a South Pole, and you need to place anything that's not bipolar, which, for example, the inner soles are bipolar, so it doesn't matter which way round you wear them. Things like, generally, it's going to be North Pole. North Pole, your mattress pads are always sort of North Pole facing. So yes, from the point of view of diabetes, you could certainly try something like that.
Did we just mention the other thing was MS?
All right.
What about, can these things be washed? We've just had a call come through from somebody asking, I'd say it's quite a common question, because they've got the magnets in. Can you wash these various things, like the mattress cover, for example, or do you buy or put covers on them?
If you can get it, there are certain ones that will come where you can buy a cover to put over the top of it. It's not recommended that they're washed, simply because if you put them in the washing machine, then again you could find that you've got a problem with the magnets. But a little bit of detergent and a damp cloth, sponge them over, not a problem. But as I say, people who you know, are good at a little bit of sewing and that sort of thing can make their own covers if they want to. So it is, you know, it's an investment again. So I would say, you know, it's worth protecting them. It's worth either paying for a cover if one's available, or making your own.
What about? Now, I knew this would be the big thing tonight. Back problems. We touched on this a short while ago. We've had a call from Midge, who's in Folkestone. She has spondylitis. Margaret in Alsford's been on the line as well. Has spinal stenosis, and loads of other people with very, very similar things. These are all back problems to do with trapped nerves and with discs slipping and so on and so forth. Would they be of any? Would the magnets be of any use there? And again, what sort of form? Or does that go back to when we were mentioning about backs just now? It's the mattress, is it?
Yeah, magnetic mattress pad for that sort of thing is the best thing you can do. I mean, you can get a wrap to go specifically round the back. You can. There is another product on the market that's chargeable that you can use on the back. But as I say, generally, if you can go to a mattress pad, you've got a chance of at least easing it. We're not going to say it's going to cure it, because some of these problems, you know, are quite serious. But obviously, if you can get a good night's sleep, or a better night's sleep, if you can get some relief, because I know what pain's like, I think we all do, but when you get older, you know, it tends to become more prolonged, and it's not the sort of thing that you want to be keeping you up all night.
No, absolutely.
Just going back to the MS, Paul, it's just one of the things that the person need to do, and it might seem not as if he sort of looked at that, I don't know, but move as many electrical appliances from the vicinity of the bed. If you've got a clock even that's plugged in by the bed, or anything that's plugged in, try and move them away, because they do they can put out some harmful raise there. Again, magnetic bracelet. Drink lots of magnetised water. I can't sort of stress this enough, because if you're drinking magnetised water, it will flush your system out. And obviously for MS again, a North Pole orientated magnetic mattress pad is the best thing, really.
I can also say the water, people may say, I don't like drinking water, it tastes horrible. I've tasted the water that's been magnetised, and it does taste different, doesn't it? And I'd be blown if I can work out why.
Yeah,
but Alan, it really does taste different.
It's difficult to describe. It's, you know, the only probably way to describe it is it just tastes a little bit of, you know, more fuller, if you like, how water can, because it's quite bland. But, yes, you need to try it to see if, you know.
How does the medical profession see this? As we've said before, you know, we're not doctors here. We're not making any medical claims whatsoever. How does the medical profession take this? I mean, are they starting to sort of, you know, open up the little ears? Are they interested in it? Have there been any research, any doctors coming on board and saying, well, hang on a minute, you know, there's something in this? I mean, I can remember osteopaths being poo-pooed 30 years ago, yet today a GP may well tell you to go to one, you know?
That's correct, yeah. Well, there's a lot of doctors that are beginning to realise that you know, that there are benefits there. I find that the younger doctors are tending to, you know, because they've heard of this, you know, are taking it on board and thinking, well, yeah, you know, there is room here to bring this in. Some of the older doctors are set in their ways, but most doctors that I've spoken to have said, well, try it, you know. I've had clients who have said to me, I don't care how it works, you know, all I know is it works, and that's all I want to know, you know. They don't want to get involved with the sciences and everything like that. So, again, we're back to the same sort of thing of, you know, give it a try, really.
And as we keep saying, you're not putting any drugs inside you. These aren't lotions and potions. These are just magnets that you put close to you, so that there's no risk in that way, as we said earlier.
Can I just say as well, it's important because somebody might think, oh, I've got some magnets on the fridge. There are, you know, the Gauss rating of a fridge magnet is probably between 150 Gauss and 600 probably at the top, and you're looking really, as I say, with the neodymiums that are going to actually make difference to pain and that, you're looking at really a minimum Gauss rating of 1,000, between 1,000 and 1,500. So there's a hell of a difference between.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Let's take another call. Let's speak to Alan, who's with us from Leon the Solent. Hello, Alan.
Oh, hello, Paul.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Jolly good. I've got two Alans now, so I'm stuck in the middle.
I've got a question for the other Alan.
Go for it. Alan's listening.
Right, well, I sent away for a thing that is rather like a pen to look at, and you click the end of it, as you would a sort of a biro click end, and you put where the nib would be on the point of the pane, and you keep clicking about 20 times, and it sends a kind of shock, whether it's magnetic or electrical, I'm not really sure. No batteries or anything.
Right.
And it didn't work at all on me, but I recommended it to other people that have had chronic pain, and they've just been bowled over by it. And I wondered if you'd ever come across this product, and...
Does it ring any bells at all, Alan?
Yes, it does, actually. Is it something called Pain Begone?
That's it.
That is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just picked it up, actually, in the last sort of couple of days, so I haven't really had a chance to try it, but I do treat sports injuries, and I was going to give it a go alongside, you know, my magnet stuff, but I can't really answer that at the moment.
Oh, right. Well, some people have been absolutely bowled over by it, and as I said, it didn't do a thing for me. I'm wondering, do these things work for some people and not for others? Well,
yeah, as I say, we've said this before, certainly with magnet therapy, is about 8 out of 10, and it'll work for, but, you know, the time varies as well. I mean, some people I've seen put a magnetic bracelet on and have pain relief within literally minutes. Others it can take hours, days. But normally if it doesn't work for you within about 21 days, then, you know, three weeks to 4 weeks, it's not going to work for you.
Right.
I think you can safely say that. But as I say, normally it's quite rapid. You know, you'll see results quite quickly.
Trust you to be awkward, Alan.
Well, I was going to say, if Alan ever comes back, I'd be interested to hear the results of...
How the people got on with this pen thing.
Indeed.
It's interesting, Alan, how you say it did no good to you at all, yet you gave it to somebody else, and they were they did feel the effect, or it did do them some good?
Immediately, absolutely immediately.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
It's one of the mysteries of life again, I think, you know. But I'm certainly going to be monitoring it, and we'll see whether we get any joy from it.
See how it goes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks for your call, Alan.
Yeah. Cheers, bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Question from Brian, who's in Dorking for you, Alan. He says, could you use these magnets if you take iron tablets?
Yes, no problem at all.
No problem at all there. Yeah. Okay. And a few people are saying, you know, will you also give out a phone number at the end as well as the website? And the answer to that is yes, I will. So get yourself your pen and paper ready, because I will be giving out a phone number as well. So that's no problem. What was I going to say? There was another question I was going to ask you just now, and I've completely lost it. Where was it gone? Oh, here's an interesting one. Another positive one, actually, Alan. Comes through on the text from Maria. It says, Paul, you might be interested to know that my cousin had a very painful knee, and he bought a magnetic knee support. Cost around £13, £14. And the first thing he said was, I wish I had bought that years ago.
Well, you know,
Amazing,
what can I say? It's, you know, and it's good because... you know, it's obviously...
how long has this been around? Sorry to interrupt you, I just thought, how long has this actually been around?
Well, it goes back to Cleopatra, really. It's but we seem to be, you know, lagging behind times here. The Americans, as usual, sort of leapt on the bandwagon. It's been out in America for quite a long time. The magnetic mattress pads in Japan are big things. I forget the actual statistics, but it's about probably 1 in 5, 1 in 6 households are actually got people sleeping on those. You know, so it's something, as I say, that we are starting to catch up on over here, and it just takes its time. I mean, hopefully it'll be part of the national health at some stage, you know.
And of course, the thing is, it's word of mouth at the moment, isn't it? People buy these things, they try them, and they mention it to somebody else. Say, oh, you want to get one of these, and you want to get one of those. And then before you know it, everybody's having them. So it does get passed on. 10 minutes to 12. Time is moving on, but we're okay. Let's speak to Anne, who joins us from Thatcham. Hi, Anne.
Hello, Paul.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Hi.
Alan is listening.
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
Hi. Well, basically, I wanted to know if I bought a bracelet about 4 to 5 years ago, possibly 4 years ago, and I paid about £25 for it. I bought it at a country horse and craft show, but they had this big display of all these magnets and things, and there was an expert there, and I had all the information with it, which I can't put my hands on at the moment. I started to wear the bracelet, and I found I was feeling a bit dizzy and a bit unsteady.
Right.
Now, was it because I wasn't drinking enough water, or could there have been another reason?
Interesting.
Not bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't really severe. I just
felt a bit unsteady.
The side effects really from a bracelet, well, we don't normally get them, but how long before you started to feel that from the time that you'd worn it?
Well, almost within a few hours, and I can remember the paperwork saying, I mean, I stupidly put the bracelet on before I read all of the details, and when I took it off and I read the paperwork, it did mention there could be a slight dizziness, and it recommended that you started to wear the bracelet at night before you went to bed, during the night, to minimise this happening.
Right.
And to wear it for a few nights like that, and then you should be all right to wear it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend if you had anything like that's the way you did it, or you start to wear it for short periods at a time.
Yes.
But you know, that's very rare, to be honest.
What happens if you drink ordinary bottled water?
Oh yeah, you can you know, as long as you're drinking water. I mean, we recommend sort of 4 to 5 glasses of water a day. It doesn't have to be magnetised.
Right.
It's just if it is magnetised, it's the best type of water for you. Again, without going into all the sciences. But yes, ordinary bottled water.
How did you do it again? You said you put the magnets near the water?
If you've got a coaster, a magnetic coaster, which you can get, or you've got a proper neodymium magnet, you just place your glass of water on top of that magnet, north side up, north pole up, and leave it for 5-10 minutes, and it will be
work.
magnetised, yeah.
Right.
I've tasted the water and it does taste very
yes,
different.
so you said
It really does.
I'm going to give it another go now.
Well, give it a try.
Yes, I will. And on the right wrist, you said, didn't you, if you had high blood pressure?
If you've got high blood pressure,
Yes.
it should be on your right one, yeah.
Right. Thank you very much indeed.
That's all right,
Thank
it's a
you,
pleasure.
I appreciate it.
No problem at all. Thank you for coming through.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Anne.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, my sweet. Bye-bye. There's Anne on the line from Thatcham. We have Pat with us now from Sterling. Hiya, Pat.
Hiya.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Rather pleased with you.
Why?
Well, because you've answered so many questions tonight. It's fantastic. First of all, my husband's diabetic, and you've helped me greatly on that. Also, I have a very painful knee with arthritis, extremely painful. And I think you probably answered the question about that. But one question I do want to ask is about quality, because I've known people that have had bracelets and their arms turn green.
Yeah, that is because basically the coating starts to come off.
Yeah.
And some people have a metal allergy. There are bracelets that are done like watch straps that will have a magnet in it, which will alleviate that. But you know, I've had one of my clients actually who actually got quite a nasty rash off of a stainless steel bracelet. But there are bracelets, as I say, on the market that have got like Velcro that you can just fasten up with a magnet in it, which will eliminate any problems of getting green wrists or the like.
So it's nothing to do with quality?
It's probably nothing to do with quality. I mean, obviously, if you got a cheap one down the market, and that started happening, then I wouldn't be surprised. But no, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a cheap quality bracelet when that's happened.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, going back to my knee, which is excruciating most days, I presume the insoles or the knee thing, the supports would do.
I would suggest if you target really the area that you've got the problem with, and if it is a knee, then get a knee support, and try and get them with because some of them have got built-in magnets into the actual knee, and you can't put them anywhere else. They're actually fixed, but you can get the ones that have got Velcro on, so you can actually target to the area of the pain. So if you had pain at the front of the knee, you could target it there. If it was at the side of the knee, you could put the pad there. It just goes on with a Velcro pad, and it'll penetrate through the neoprene, no problem at all.
Wonderful.
Providing it, as I say, it's a good strength magnet.
And will it help polymyalgia?
It's quite likely it will.
Good.
But again, as I say, you need to give it a try.
And medication makes no difference to wearing them?
No, it doesn't make any difference. In fact, I wouldn't recommend anybody to come off medication.
No.
I mean, what we have done in the past is found that you can reduce your medication in consultation with your doctor. But again, you would need to discuss that there, you know.
Right, because I've been reducing steroids for 8 years now, so I'm sort of pretty low.
Right.
So that should be okay.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Failing that, I'll come round and give it a rub for you.
You can't ask better than that, can you?
I've never had the courage to ring before, but this was important.
Certainly, yeah. And hopefully put you in the right direction.
Yeah, thank
nice
you
to
very
speak
much.
to you.